Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Good day to you all. Thanks for being here. The support, as always, is much appreciated. And gentle reminder, as always, smash like button and also subscribe. If you're new, these are both free and easy ways to give the youths them a strength. Seen? The topic of discussion is obviously Leon Bailey. Seen? Now, for starters, let me just say that me personally, I don't think Leon was the man of the match. Right? It was close between him and Ravel. Me personally give the edge to Ravel. I thought that Ravel was the better player across the entirety of the game. But with that being said, we have to talk about Leon Bailey performance, people. We have been dying for Leon Bailey, ball for the nation, guys. We have been dying. And finally, the player has delivered a mercurial performance for the Reggae Boyz. We're going to talk about that. Quickly though, I saw his comments in the interview. And I must say that look, I'm not going to really go in depth into those comments because, to be fair, they are kind to expound, not to expound. I can't expound on it, but to go into trying to explain in those comments would obviously be speculative, right? I mean, the player left much unsaid. What is clear though to me personally is that there does seem to be issues in terms of attitude of players seems to be a problem. We hear the Gaffer talking about it, and now we hear one of the fellow players talking about it. And this is not just any player. This is arguably the best player on the team in terms of, his accomplishment and the quality that we know that Leon Bailey has. I just have to say, we need to shape up, man. We need to shape up. Seeing the players, them, everybody need to shape up. JFF need to shape up, right? Players need to shape up. Seeing, we just need we need to step it up, man, honestly, right? Secondly, the quality of Leon's performances is not only making headlines here in Jamaica, but I saw an article from the Birmingham Mail and MSN where they spoke about Leon Bailey's impressive performance. Right, I'm going to read that article a little bit later, but I want to talk about Bailey's performance. Bailey had a good game. Probably, I'm trying to think of if I've ever seen Leon have a better game for the Reggae Boyz. Certainly not in the longest. Not in the longest. I thought his first half was decent. I didn't think he was as involved in the game as I would have liked him to be. And I don't think that's necessarily his fault, to be honest with you, right? And we saw a complete difference in the second half. My question is it a coincidence that the very first game that Leon Bailey plays for Paul Hall being the head coach, is it a coincidence that Bailey balled? Finally, we find a Gaffer we seemingly know what the hell to do with Leon Bailey. It's not a coincidence. Seen? Paul Hall realized that he needed to get Leon Bailey more involved in this football game. And you saw the difference. Look, don't get me wrong, he didn't play bad in the first half, but there was a difference in the second half. He played decently in the first half, but in the second half, he took it to a whole nother level and absolutely balled. Absolutely balled. Now, my thing is that you could see the difference in Leon Bailey's role in the second half, right? In the first half, he was more out wide. He was more occupying wide positions, especially in the attacking transition when we were in possession and in the attacking transition when the team was on the ball. he was more occupying the wide channel, so to speak. But in the second half, you saw a difference, and that difference, I believe, was aimed to get Leon Bailey more involved in the football game, right? You saw a lot of movement. So the movement went from being just in the wide channel to being in the wide channel, the half spaces, and even in the central channel as well. Right? So his movement encapsulated more of the pitch, so to speak. So what that does is it made it more difficult, because you realize the El Salvadorans in the first half, they were very much onto Leon Bailey in a flash. They weren't giving him a lot of time and space. And there were even times when we saw them doubling up on him, which is something we have seen on many occasions when he has played for the national team. Teams obviously know that he's the danger man and know what this player can do and what he's capable of, right? But because of the more dynamic movement that was introduced into his play in the second half, right? And just, I wouldn't say giving him a free role, but, just giving him more freedom to roam in the second half made it more difficult for El Salvadorian players to track his movement, and it made it more difficult for them to get close to him and really, affect his play. Took the shackles off of him, so to speak, right? And that is what we're talking about, and that is what Paul was talking about in the press conference, getting Leon Bailey involved in the game, right? So under the previous Gaffer, he was playing more as a wing forward, but especially, and even in the first half in this game, he was playing more as a wing forward as well. But in the second half, he was playing more of a creator / controller, seeing whose task was to get on the ball as much as possible and help to control the game, help to dictate happenings in the game, and just be that controller / creator. Seeing, and that is what Paul was talking about in the press conference, right? Just basically, really and truly getting this player to have an impact on the game and be present in the game, and also making it difficult for the opposition, seeing, to really and truly, limit his play, so to speak, kind of taking the shackles off of the player, right? And him just roaming in more channels in the second half, I think, was just a massive positive. And also, one of the things I also really want to talk about as well is that movement, more in the half spaces, and also in the central channel, more as a tucking winger, sort of like what that did. And then also coming a little bit deeper sometimes too, right, to get on the ball more. What that did is that enabled him to link up more with Ravel Morrison, and the two were just playing off each other and working off each other, right? And just getting those two players to connect on the pitch. It was causing El Salvador a ton load of problems, and that me want to see going forward. That me want to see going forward, people. Like on the real, that me want to see going forward. Right? Those two, like the two maestro them, right, connecting with each other on the field of play. There were that combination play and that link-up play between those two players was unplayable, especially in the second half when it started happening more frequently. Guys, it was unplayable, man. It was unplayable. Seen? So, man, we find a Gaffer. We know what the hell to do with Leon Bailey, man. And the performance was very encouraging going forward, man. That, the Gaffer has some idea as what it takes to get the best out of Leon Bailey, getting him involved in the game, getting him on the ball more often, and making it more difficult for opposition players to track the run of this particular player. I want to share an article with you guys before we get out of here. Because we have to talk about this in a man. His performance is not only making headlines in Jamaica, Seeing him making headlines even in England, right? The Birmingham Mail and MSN, Leon Bailey gives clear response to Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa warning. Aston Villa winger Leon Bailey put in a top performance for Jamaica in a 1-1 draw versus El Salvador on Thursday night. The 24-year-old played the duration of the game for only the second time this campaign for either club or country. Bailey struck the woodwork in the first half before Eric Zavaleta handed El Salvador the lead inside the first 21 minutes of the contest. By the way, in all fairness, to be fair to Leon Bailey, I think that he could have done a little bit better on that particular chance, right? I'm not really wrong him for not converting it, but I just thought he could have done better, right? Especially with the initial attempted shot, right? Andre Gray's equalizer came with less than 20 minutes remaining, but it was Leon Bailey who carried the biggest threat throughout the game. The winger made 8 key passes during the 90 minutes and put in a man of the match performance of the Reggae Boyz. As me say personally, I would give man of the match to Ravel. I think Ravel did more over both halves, right? But I don't blame anybody for thinking that Leon Bailey was the man of the match. He was that good. Jamaica are due to play another 2 games before the international break is over. Bailey could feature against Canada, blah, blah, blah. Barring any more frustrating injuries, please God, no make Leon get another injury for the rest of the season, right? Bailey will return to Bodymore Heath in a better place than he left last week, fitter and stronger for the match minutes in the tank, and also probably more confident as well. We can't forget the confidence, guys. This performance would definitely have, given Bailey a nice feeling about his football, right? He's out to impress head coach Steven Gerrard after the Liverpool legend fired a warning to members of his squad who weren't receiving as much game time as they might have liked in recent weeks. He said, they have an opportunity to impress me every single day in training. People who have impressed me in training consistently have been given opportunities. Then it's down to them players to take them. In terms of the last 4 or 5 games, people playing in the forward positions have performed really well. And if you're winning games, you don't really want to make too many changes. Going back to your question saying that the players have been frustrated or maybe frustrated, we have had similar feelings when they have been injured. Let me repeat that again. We have had similar feelings when they have been injured or when they have gone away on international duty and come back injured. Interesting. We haven't seen enough of them players on the pitch or in terms of availability. So people have had head starts on them. Another interesting point from Gaffer Steven Gerrard. Have got more in the bank, if you like, in terms of impressing us and delivering and contributing to the team. The challenge is very much for them, and the ball is very much for them to out-train and impress me to a level where I can't ignore them. I am waiting for that. So those, that was basically the article in the Birmingham Mail and MSN, Leon Bailey's performance look. I think Steven Gerrard more than likely would be paying attention to this performance and saying, okay, Bailey has ball. But to be fair, it is against El Salvador, a decent team from a CONCACAF standpoint, but obviously, the English Premier League, week in, week out, he'll probably face better teams. That's for sure. So, he will, Steven Gerrard will be taking notice of the performance, and it will, kind of, I don't want to say help to push Leon's case, but it will certainly give the Gaffer Steven Gerrard to something to think about However, we have to bear in mind that, you know, these individuals, they don't really think too highly of the CONCACAF region, to be, you know, and to be fair, El Salvador, if it was against an America or Canada or even a Mexico, you know, then, you know, it would probably, you know, resonate more with Steven Gerrard. But let us see if Bailey features against Canada and what he does against Canada. Hopefully he can ball versus Canada as well and give Gaffer Steven Gerrard even more to think about, right? So guys, that's my 2 cents. Again, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Free and easy ways to support the channel, free and easy way to give the youth them a strength. Take care, stay safe guys, and until next time.